Thanks for joining us. I'm Marlon Bowling with you, and we're going to take a look at our grain trade. Now that we're about, a little over an hour into our trading session here, we started out on a weaker note. Let's see if we still are. Let's go to the corn board here this morning. And right now, September corn is actually trading 6 1/4 lower. We're now at 551 1/4. It's just kind of hovering around the same area with a loss of about a nickel or so from our overnight high. We have December corn down 6 1/4 at 559. That is 6 cents off of its overnight high too. Now on soybeans, here we have a little bit of strength, and it's all front loaded. August is up 13 1/4 at 1528 3/4, but September is 9 1/4 higher. And then you go to November, and it's only up 1 1/4 at 1421 1/4. However, it's 14 cents off of its earlier low. I will point that out. So kind of a good news, bad news scenario there in the soybeans. Now let's take a look at our wheat market. In Chicago, September 24 1/2 lower at 735 3/4. Really pounding on that one this morning. Kansas City, same story. September down 25 3/4 now at 887 per bushel after a high last night of 910 1/2. And in spring wheat, you have September dropping 21 cents at 911. We're within a penny of our low of the day, 20 cents off of our overnight high. I want to bring in Todd Bubba Horwitz here and talk about all this. He's with BubbaTrading.com. He's located in Las Vegas today. So, Todd, always good to visit with you about the markets. Is this a day of profit taking, or how do you look at it now?
I think it's the profit taking started yesterday, Marlon. I thought that Monday's big rally, and then of course it carried on into Monday night, right, into the reopening for Tuesday. And I think now you're just seeing some natural selling, and I think it's pretty healthy for the market to see some selling. I mean, certainly I hope people, if they had some on, took some off going into the last couple of days, and now I'm really looking for another opportunity to jump back in. I think, as we talked about last week, I thought the lows had been put in, and I think we're going to see higher prices, and there'll be some news, there'll be some gyrations, but net, I look for them to go higher, and I'm looking for a place to re-enter somewhere down in these areas here, and basically just kind of want to watch where it slows down and then look to jump back in, because I do think we're going much higher once again.
Do you think the fund positioning has largely been evened out yet or not?
No, I still think they're trying to lean on the downside. I think they got trapped a little bit, which was when you see those extra moves and you see a limit up move in wheat and you see a big up move in corn like you saw, I think that was a little bit of short covering. But once again, I think they tried to get back in again a little bit yesterday. We saw a much higher open on Monday night and then into Tuesday. And now we're seeing some selling, and I think they're going to get trapped once again. I think that you've got, them trying to play the Russia-Ukraine news, that kind of deal, and I think that when it's all said and done, I think they end up going higher, and I think we end up seeing another burst, and I think the next burst won't slow down quite as fast.
So do you think this is going to be kind of an unusual marketing year when it comes to the peaks and valleys in the market for corn and soybeans? In other words, do you think we're actually going to rally toward the fall harvest period?
I do. I think we're going to start to rally, and I think it's an unusual year, Mon, because volumes have been dramatically lower because we've seen some things that just don't make logical sense. So we've already had a pretty strange year, and I think that will continue because you see equity markets still charging higher in spite of really recessionary times, in spite of higher interest rates, and I think that this will resolve itself out. But we have seen some dramatic swings on very light volume over the last, few months, and it's been, ridiculous.
Now, what do you do if you're a wheat producer and you're just finishing up with wheat harvest and you have this big rally that we had, even though we're lower today? Are you in kind of a hurry to sell wheat, or do you see a better opportunity ahead here?
Well, I think that you should be hedged, and then knowing that you could sell wheat probably a lot higher, but at least if you could lock in, from here, you could lock in, let's say, 710, 720, right? But I could certainly see back into $8, $9 before it's all said and done if we get the rally that I'm looking for.
Okay, I want to go around the horn here and take a look at some of these other prices in the outside markets. Of course, the Fed will be announcing what they want to do with interest rates later on today. Let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Right now, ahead of that announcement, it's just not doing much. September futures on the Dow down 20 points at 35,584 on the U.S. dollar index. So far today, September futures are down 146 points. So it's at 100.950, just not doing much of anything. That's kind of as expected. On the crude oil trade, well, we're backing up a little bit. September West Texas Intermediate crude now down 31 cents at 79.32 per barrel. Todd, thank you for the update today. Good to visit with you again. We're going to come back in a moment and we'll take a look at livestock next.